couldn't use them when you couldn't use them.
Okay, welcome everybody to Health Info tonight. Our guest speaker is Dr. Bryan Schroeder. He's going to speak on nutraceuticals and what he's discovered.
Whoa.
There's lots of familiar faces out there, so I know quite a few of you already know who I am. But I'm a chiropractor, but I do a lot of other stuff that's probably not technically chiropractic. I've been involved in natural health care for about 40 years. And I'm going to talk about something tonight that I find extremely exciting. I've never seen anything like this. This is different. This is not what you're used to. And in that time, I've seen all kinds of stuff come and go. You know, there's different types of herbs, sunrider, and goji berry, wolfberry, blue-green algae, everything, right? And all of it, has merit. It's valuable. It has a beneficial effect on people. And I'm going to tell you again, nothing like that is anything like this. This is brand new, okay? So we'll talk about it a little bit. I'm going to show you some videos that will explain it a little bit better, a little bit differently, and give you a little bit of the history of where it's all coming from. So basically what it is, and wrap your head around this if you can, is what this product does is facilitate the repair of your DNA. All of us, all the time, are being subjected to oxidative stress. And lots of people that look at all of this stuff and try to figure out what it all means basically boil almost everything bad that happens in the body down to oxidative stress. Oxygen is the classic proverbial double-edged sword. We absolutely require it for moment-by-moment survival. You can only live about 3 or 4 minutes without oxygen. But while oxygen is in the body, it's reacting all over the place and causing what are called free radicals to form. What are also called ROS, or reactive oxidative species. So these are different molecules that are involving oxygen that have a detrimental or damaging effect on the body, creating oxidative stress. And there's about 200 different conditions in the body that have been linked to oxidative stress. Aging certainly is linked to oxidative stress. And one of the things that happens with aging, of course, is that our DNA, that wonderful little double helix molecule that's inside every nucleus of every cell in your body, which is the blueprint for how to make you, or how to run you, is damaged over time, just like everything else. And so when that happens, of course, we're not getting accurate reproduction of that DNA when our cells divide. So if we could figure out a way to repair that DNA on a daily basis, that wouldn't happen, because we'd be making perfect copies of the DNA every time cells divide. I heard an interesting little factoid the other day, which I thought, that's really cool. Did you know that we make 15 million red blood cells every second of every day? I knew that, obviously outside of red blood cells, I had heard the numbers before of 22,000 new body cells every second or every day, and about 35 trillion new cells every day. But we make apparently 15 million red blood cells every second of every day. So how do we do that? We do that by taking copies of DNA and then reproducing. So that whole process of DNA being utilized to make new body cells to keep us alive is important. And as they have now discovered, one of the reasons why we age, or possibly the main reason why we age, is because that DNA gets worn down just like everything else gets worn down. So this stuff, this wonderful product, actually repairs DNA. What it does do, in fact, is encourage the formation of the special enzymes that are in our cells that repair DNA. And those enzymes, like a lot of other things in our bodies, just decrease with age. We know that, we make less glucosamine as we age. We make less stomach acid as we age. We make less, of all the different neurotransmitters and hormones. We make less testosterone, less growth hormone, less estrogen. All those things diminish as we age. And so it makes sense that the enzymes that are responsible for repairing DNA also make less of those enzymes as we age. And so the amazing thing about this product is that it goes in there and gives the body specifically what it needs to make more of the repair enzymes. The other crazy thing that the other product, NRF1, does is that it repairs mitochondrial DNA. How many people here know what mitochondria are? Okay, a few, maybe half. Mitochondria are these crazy little things that live inside every cell of your body, and it's their job to manufacture energy. Human beings, or in fact all animals, are different than a city. Say like Thunder Bay has an electrical generating station. It manufactures electricity that gets sent through wires and supplies electrical energy to the whole city. In humans, that's not the way it works. Every cell makes its own energy. And what lives in every cell that makes that energy is these little things called mitochondria. Now, mitochondria are kind of cool in the sense that they take sugar, water, minerals, vitamins, and mix it all together and come up with this molecule called ATP, which is the energy molecule of the body. The neat thing is that mitochondria have their own DNA, which is different than our DNA. And nobody can explain why it is that that's the case. There's all sorts of theories, the most popular one being that maybe at some point millions of years ago they were a bacteria that invaded our bodies, but because they did this cool thing of producing energy, we let them stay. Right? But again, that's just a theory. We don't know how they got here, but we do know that they have their own DNA, and it's different than ours. So one of the two products that we're going to be talking about, NRF1 and NRF2, repairs mitochondrial DNA, which is also amazing and crazy. And it leads to lots more energy. And I can testify to that. I've been taking the products now since April of this year, and I have so much energy I hardly know what to do with it all. It's insane. So that's the big deal, is that this is amazing. This is something that has never, ever been before. You can call it a nutritional supplement. It's probably safe to call it a nutritional supplement in the sense that it is involved in nutrition in your body, and it is supplemental in the sense that it's something you don't take. But anyway, we're going to go through the videos, and we'll talk a little bit more. And I would really ask if everybody, if you have questions, maybe write it down or something, and just save them all till the end, right? So we can just get through the whole presentation. Once we've done all that, then we'll take questions until nobody has any more questions left. Okay? All right.
That started the biohacking revolution in 2005.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig. I can record, okay. I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCord, a world-renowned scientist. This is a pretty exciting stuff you find.
It is. We're very excited about it.
His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives, and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test.
It
wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company. They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body,
Leading to disease.
leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress, and we all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells. But as we get older, some of those toxic radicals overwhelm our enzymes and wreak their havoc. For a long time, scientists thought that antioxidant vitamins like C and E would lower it, but they don't.
Yeah, it's turned out in just the last 5 years or so, we see that they're not good enough tools. They're not powerful enough.
But this pill, he says, is powerful enough. In fact, many times more powerful.
So, Doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment. It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us. Whether that will lead to longer life is still unknown. Experiments to see if mice live longer are about to get underway, but it's a tantalizing theory.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes.
Have you discovered the fountain of youth?
I wouldn't put it that way, but we may have discovered something that will tell us a lot more about how we age, what happens biochemically, and maybe how we can slow it down. So you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
Back to the oxidative stress levels of a child? It sounds too good to be true. Will Protandim work on me? But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Have we turned back the clock? Well, maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed.
Would you suggest I keep taking this supplement?
I would.
And so, ancient Eastern healing and modern Western medicine may soon be working together. High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma. I've studied all of these: strokes, heart attacks.
Even mental disease.
Yes,
Depression?
we do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old and find out that I should have taken it.
The company that makes Protandim says its tests show the pill, made from ingredients used for centuries, is absolutely safe. But because it's being sold as a nutritional supplement and not a drug, Protandim does not need FDA approval for safety. For more, go to our website at abcnews.com.
Protandim NRF2 is protected by 7 U.S. patents. Major universities and government agencies initiated and continue self-funded studies following the ABC Primetime Investigative Report you just viewed that originally aired back in 2005. These studies continue to reveal more scientific evidence about Protandim NRF2's unique benefits and to evaluate how this anti-aging breakthrough can prevent and improve many of the problems associated with aging. The next video will bring you up to date on where we are today.
Our bodies are amazing machines, a machine that is constantly working to combat the environmental and biological stresses attacking it. We breathe in pollution, our body works to filter it out. We get hot or cold, our body works to regulate itself. We get sunburned, sick, or injured, and our body works to repair itself. But like any machine, just doing what it's designed to do eventually leads to wear and tear. And therefore, the longer it works, the less effective it becomes. It gradually begins to break down, and in the case of our bodies, we age. But what if that weren't the case? What if you could flip the tables so that as your body does what it's designed to do, it actually became more capable of dealing with environmental and biological stress? Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Well, you don't have to imagine it, because that world is here. Introducing LifeVantage, a publicly traded company at the forefront of nutrigenomics. Using nutrition and naturally occurring compounds to improve your gene expression for a healthier and potentially longer life. Our first breakthrough in nutrigenomics came with the discovery of the NRF2 protein, also known as the master regulator of the body's stress response. Aging and many of its unwanted problems are linked to the breakdown of our body's cells caused by oxidative stress, damage from an overload of free radicals. Our patented Protandim NRF2 synergizer stimulates the NRF2 protein, resulting in the body producing its own powerful, protective antioxidant enzymes, and is the only supplement proven in a clinical study to reduce oxidative stress in humans by an average of 40% in 30 days. Therefore reducing lipid peroxidation to the level of a much younger individual. A recent peer-reviewed study from Washington State University calls NRF2 activation one of the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventive breakthroughs in the history of medicine. In a $3.4 billion antioxidant supplement industry, Protandim stands out as the key to making antioxidants rather than taking them. But there's another problem linked to aging that you need to fix: the breakdown of your mitochondria. Mitochondria are the powerhouses of your cells. They make adenosine triphosphate, the fuel that pumps your heart, supports muscle growth, and encourages healthy brain function. And because mitochondria are the source of 95% of your body's energy, as your mitochondria decay, so does your energy level. Protandim NRF1 Synergizer is a new breakthrough that supports mitochondria production and reverses the impact of cellular aging. When you combine both Protandim products, you reduce oxidative stress and help your body support mitochondria production so that you can have healthy, energetic, and youthful cells. Being the industry leader in NRF2 and NRF1.
It'll take me a couple of minutes to get this one up, so just bear with me, please.
I am Dr. Alice Reed. I am internal medicine, and I'm traditional internal medicine. Have been out at the beach now 21 years. And I have always had an interest in wellness. So naturally, I have lots of patients who bring me information, bring me ideas, and I go to the anti-aging conferences. But about 2 years ago, one of my patients, a retired anesthesiologist, Dr. Sharon Phillips, she came to me with Protandim. Look at the ingredients, and I said, well, you know, I take most of that, and they're good herbs, that's a real good product, that's great. Well, it's Tuesday night, I'm whiny, it's school night, as I call it, and I call my husband, Bill, and I say, we gotta go to UNF tonight, we gotta hear this guy talk about this product, it's network marketing, I'm extremely negative, but we go, we get in the car and we go, and I get there, and we're sitting in our little seats, and out walks Joe McCord. And as he is on the video, he's got a presence. And he just starts talking about oxidative stress and his research and Protandim. And I'm on fire. I am just so excited. I've just returned from an anti-aging conference in Orlando, the A4M. Big thousands of people, big stuff. And they talk about genetics and changing your genes and putting your stem cells in the deep freeze and all this kind of outside the box conversation. And a lot of it was genetics and having your genes do the work. So after I'm listening to this, I said, wow, this is just amazing divine intervention. So what I want to start with is the oxidative stress. Now, we used to call that in the 70s free radical damage. Everybody talked about free radicals. Our body makes 13 sextillion free radicals a day. That's 13 with 26 zeros after it. So free radical damage is everywhere. We've always talked about that, and we combat that with antioxidants. Now, what we didn't know, and what Joe McCord discovered, is that we have a set of genes that makes antioxidants. Those are the survival genes. They make antioxidants, antifibrotics, and anti-inflammatories. So when we are young, we have a set of genes that is working for us, combating 1 million free radicals per second for us. and thus neutralizing the free radical damage. Because what happens is when your free radical damage is high and your antioxidants are low, that difference is called oxidative stress. And that's now a buzzword. As opposed to free radical damage, we use the term oxidative stress. And as he mentioned in the video, oxidative stress is linked to hundreds of diseases, probably almost all diseases, and it is the cause of gene mutations, inflammation, etc. So the goal is to decrease oxidative stress by neutralizing your free radicals with the antioxidants. So as I said, when we were young, we had a set of genes that poured out antioxidants, combating 1 million free radicals per second, really giving us a chance on that 13 sextillion number. But somewhere along the way, in our 20s, that process kind of peters out. So Joe McCord, he spent the last 40 years in the lab trying to figure out how to wake up that process. And in the 90s, they discovered that inside your cell, there's a messenger called a NRF2 messenger, a messenger that speaks to your DNA and actually is the one that did that work. Would go to your DNA and tell your DNA to kick out all those great genes, the survival genes, the antioxidant products, and also kind of calm down the bad genes. And that's why when we're young, we don't age, we grow, we're healthy. So what has happened is everyone has been trying to discover how to wake up this NRF2 pathway and do that. Well, that is Protandim. So people go, well, what is Protandim? This is too good to be true. I can't believe this video. Protandim is an NRF2 activator. It is not an antioxidant. It is a natural product that tells your DNA to make your God-given antioxidants at the tune of 1 million per second. So that is what Protandim is. And this is not something that Protandim made up. The NRF2 messenger was discovered in the 90s, and there are other pharmaceutical people trying to figure out how to wake up this NRF2 pathway, and Protandim has done it. Protandim is 5 nutraceuticals. It's turmeric, which has been around for centuries, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer properties. Green tea, also been around for many, many years. Milk thistle, fabulous for cleansing the liver. 2 herbs, ashwagandha and Bacopa. And those are very good herbs for adrenal stress and mental clarity. So those are the 5 nutrients in Protandim. They're very low doses. They're synergistically combined.
Anybody want to know what those 5 are again, so you can write it down?
Yeah.
I see people frantically writing. So let's just back up a little bit. A little bit more. Right there. Right.
5 nutraceuticals. It's turmeric, which has been around for centuries, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer properties. Green tea, also been around for many, many years. Milk thistle, fabulous for cleansing the liver. 2 herbs, ashwagandha and Bacopa. And those are very good herbs for adrenal stress and mental clarity. So,
Everybody got them?
Yeah, what was that?
Ashwagandha and Bacopa.
What's that?
It's called
B-A-C-O-P-A.
B-A-C-O-P-A. Well, I don't even know. Once in a while, yes. Is there going to be a test later?
Yeah.
Questions
You
later.
better be studying hard. Okay, everybody ready? Yeah. We can continue?
so those are the 5 nutrients in Protandim. They're very low doses. They're synergistically combined. So as I was saying to Sharon, Dr. Phillips, I was saying, oh, I take all those individually. That doesn't how it works. It's the synergy of the way he's put it together in the nutraceutical product. And that is what Protandim is. Now, people will say, well, that's just too good to be true. I don't believe this. This is crazy.
So what she's saying is that, although lots of people might take some or all of those particular supplements, the fact is that McCord spent somewhere between 20 and 40 years figuring out the precise recipe of how to combine those 5 things so that you have just this much of this one along with this much of that one and so much of this one, right? And they're all very low doses, probably much less than you would take if you were taking those supplements. But it's the synergistic effect of combining them at the exact right ratios that gives us the result. And as he said, from their own testing, they figured out that the product that has the synergistically mixed together 5 products is 800% more effective than if you were taking random amounts of all those things on your own.
We send them to pubmed.gov. PubMed, publicmedical.gov, government, pubmed.gov is the NIH website. The NIH is the National Institute of Health. That's where all our research and data is. If you were to actually go to pubmed.gov and put in oxidative stress, you're going to get close to over 100,000 articles on oxidative stress and disease. So we send people to pubmed.gov and put in the search box Protandim. Protandim has 11 peer-reviewed studies. 11 peer-reviewed studies. Peer-reviewed studies, PER, peer review, those are studies done by, obviously, your peers. They're peer.
Okay, so this, obviously, I guess, is an older video. They now have 24 peer-reviewed studies, not 11. Okay? And these are studies that have been done by universities like Harvard, University of Colorado, University of Michigan, University of Florida, and all of them were funded by the universities themselves. LifeVantage not pay for any of these studies. But what they did was when they started publishing their own research, other people looked at it and said, nonsense, that's too good to be true. We better do our own study on this and prove them wrong. But they couldn't, right? So they had to publish their own studies that said, yes, the product does everything the company says it does. So now I have 24 of them. A couple that were published very, very recently, and I was down not last weekend, but the weekend before. I flew down to Salt Lake City and attended their global conference of the company, and they were releasing some new studies that had just been done at the conference. They have one study that a lot of people find really, really hard to swallow, which shows that if you were to be taking Protandim while you were getting therapy for cancer, it would not only enhance the effect of the chemotherapy, and in fact make it work better against your cancer, but it would simultaneously protect you from any bad side effects of the chemotherapy. You know, again, people find that pretty hard to believe, but it's in peer-reviewed studies. The most recent study that they released, which was just last week, in fact, the National Institutes for Aging, which is a part of the National Institutes for Health in the US, so it's a government body, looks at everything that has anything to do with aging, right? So they're doing their own research, they're reviewing all the research that's out there. And in the last 20 years since they came into existence, they've looked at hundreds and hundreds of different products that claim to be able to actually extend life, that if you take this product, you'll live longer, right? The only one that they've ever found that actually lives up to that claim is Protandim. And they found that it extends your lifespan by an average of 7%, which may not seem like much, but you know. And they found that all the other claims that they made, whereas they talk about anti-aging and that, they say, okay, it reduces cellular oxidative stress, it also reduces cellular aging. Now, in terms of a whole living organism, it reduces it by 7%. But in terms of a single cell, again, the number is it'll reduce cellular aging by 40% in 30 days. That's pretty amazing stuff. Okay, let's just continue on here.
To Dr. Joe McCord, other PhDs, other MDs who are doing research, and he sends his data to these individuals. They're not even together, they're in individual places, and they all review his data. And all of the individuals involved have to agree with the results for it to be peer-reviewed and to be published. So Protandim has 11 peer reviews. If you go to pubmed.gov and put in Protandim, you're going to start with the most recent and go backwards. So I'm going to call the first peer review actually the most distant peer review. And that peer review, the first 3 peer reviews that were ever written on Protandim, describe exactly and prove exactly what I just told you all. The first peer review proves that Protandim in 30 days decreases oxidative stress 40%. They measure oxidative stress by T-bars. T-bars is a peroxidase measurement. We know that high T-bars has always been linked to cardiovascular disease. So Protandim in 30 days was proven by measuring T-bars to decrease oxidative stress 40%. It also showed in that first peer review that within 120 days, which is 3 months, which is usually about the time people really start to notice a difference, that the SOD, superoxide dismutase, and catalase, two of the biggest antioxidants we have that our DNA makes through Protandim, that is upregulated 30 and 40%. So this is all proven in the first peer review study. The second peer review proves that it is the synergy of the 5 products. It is the way he put them together, the strength and the amount that he used, the synergy of the product that makes Protandim a NRF2 activator. They tagged the NRF2 pathway and saw that Protandim lit up that pathway, and it was proven to be a NRF2 activator.
The other one that's been shown by other research, and I can't remember whether she mentions it or not, I don't think she does, but she talks about superoxide dismutase and catalase, which are two very, very powerful antioxidant enzymes that we make. But the other thing that it does, and this has been shown, again, this was another paper that was published very recently, shows that taking Protandim will increase the production of glutathione in your body, which is another major antioxidant, by 300% in 120 days. 300% in 120 days, glutathione. And everybody, most people I think probably know how important glutathione is. Okay.
So when I was saying, oh, I take all that, that is not going to do it. It's got to be in the perfect synergy, and there are patents for that. So we have 4 patents on that synergy of those 5 products. The third peer review is a great one. It proves that Protandim increases glutathione 300%. Now, glutathione is probably one of the biggest antioxidants. Glutathione is huge, or I should say the absence of glutathione is huge in movement disorders, Parkinson's, any learning disabilities, autism. So glutathione is huge. People are trying to get glutathione all the time. When you go to these anti-aging conferences and you go into the expo, there are several people trying to sell you glutathione. Glutathione is a very big molecule. It's very hard to absorb. So people try to get it through IV injections or nebulizers, but glutathione is huge. And Protandim stabilizes the enzyme that converts to glutathione and thus upregulates glutathione 300%. And that is proven in the peer review, the third peer review. There are studies with rats and pulmonary hypertension. There are studies with mice and muscular dystrophy. There is a study with mice and skin cancer, the fourth peer review. They took the mice and they divided in 2 groups. And in one group, they divided that into 2 groups. In one group of them, they gave just normal mice feed. The other group, they gave Protandim, and those mice did fine. Over here, they divided up the group, normal mice feed, Protandim, and they painted these mice with toxic carcinogenic product. The group of mice in the normal feed got covered with multiple skin tumors, 100% of the mice. The group of mice with the Protandim feed got covered, only 60% were covered with tumors, and with markedly less number of tumors. That's pretty impressive that 33% of the mice did not get affected at all by the carcinogenic product. And LSU is continuing to do a lot of skin cancer studies, so I think that the skin information is going to come out to be very impressive. One of the other peer reviews that I really find fascinating is we know that when you take a vein out of someone's leg for a bypass, you're taking a very low venous structure and you're turning it into an artery, putting it across their heart and making it an artery. That would be a lot of oxidative stress. We know that within a couple of weeks, that venous structure will get a little bit of thickening, about 50% thickening of the lining of that new product, that new structure, because of the oxidative stress. And we accept that, and therefore we have them on statins and aspirin and other products to try to keep that vein as stable as possible. Well, when they took a human vein and they bathed it in Protandim, and they exposed it to that oxidative stress, turning it into an artery, there was 0 thickening of the lining of the structure. So there was no intimal thickness. That's huge. That's a peer review, and that is huge. There are other peer reviews, and the most recent peer review just came out, and I have not reviewed it thoroughly, but it's going to be about coronary artery disease and the oxidative stress to that coronary disease. patients on Protandim, there's a decrease in the damage to the lining of the coronary arteries. So that's going to come out as well. More and more is going to come out. There's going to be other studies coming out through the next several months to year on Protandim. So it's a fascinating, amazing product. I can't say enough about it. I can't say enough about the science, but I do think it's real important. NRF2 activator, not an antioxidant, but it makes your own DNA. Make your God-given antioxidants at the tune of eradicating 1 million free radicals per second. So we have a way to combat that free radical damage and decrease our oxidative.
All right. So that's the story of this particular product. And as I'm sure you can understand by all the information that you've just seen, this is different. This is not just another berry or another plant or herb or whatever. This is something that's working right at the cellular DNA level to improve your body's ability to deal with the oxidative stress that we all have to deal with. And, because it's a nutritional supplement, it's not regulated by the FDA or by Health Canada. They can't stop it from being sold or whatever. It doesn't have to go through any testing for them to allow it. So we know that everybody can take it, everybody can benefit from it. And all the research that was done, there were no harmful side effects noted, there were no safety issues that needed to be considered. So it's pretty amazing stuff.
So how can they ban like amygdalin B17 when it's only from apricot seed? Like, did they ban that? It's curing cancer all over the world in the United States and all over the place. But they ban that. How do they get away with something like this? Oh, cut it? Okay.